Hey everyone, Kyle once again, and welcome back to another movie review for Halloween month. And this one, I'm definitely going to enjoy reviewing because, I know that my friend Peter, aka Peter Freakout 10, he just recently reviewed this film, and which is also I wanted to review this film for quite some time, but never got around to it because I had other things to review, but. Since he reviewed this, I'm gonna review my take on my review for. I would say it's another great creature feature film, and it's also, I would say, one of my favorite films. I would say one of my favorite films dealing with Stephen King and / creature feature films as well, like I said, and I don't know why this film gets so much hate. I don't get it though, but this one for review is one of my favorite Stephen King films. That is The Graveyard Shift, or Stephen King's Graveyard Shift to be exact, though. But now, Stephen King's The Graveyard Shift, it was released pretty much right fitting for almost like the Halloween time in 1990, October 26th to be exact, though. But released around the Halloween time, and it's directed by a guy by the name of Ralph S. Singleton, and this is the only film this guy's directed, and he's never directed again since after this, which is a shame. Because I thought he did a good job, really good job directing the film, and I was like, I like this cover here, which is a poster for the film, which I would say that the poster for this film is a cool looking poster. I think that's also a poster that I want to get sometime, because I thought that was like a cool looking poster for the grave, which shows it's this though, but when you pan it back, it shows more of the picture of the skeleton skull with the helmet, the miner's helmet. And it's based on a short story by Stephen King, which I've read a lot of Stephen King's books like Cujo, Carrie, Christine. I've read a lot of Stephen King's books though, but I haven't read the short story from this film for this one here. But what can I say? It's a cool creature feature film. It's one of my favorite Stephen King films. My favorite is Christine, which I've already reviewed. But this will definitely be in my top 5 favorite Stephen King films, along with Christine, Silver Bullet. Well, one day I'll do my favorite Stephen King films though, but I'll get to why though. But that's like a few of those are definitely my top 5 favorite lists. So, and it's a great monster movie, and you get such a good cast. It stars David Andrews, which probably people remember him that he was in Terminator 3: Rise of the Machines. He was the character Brewster, Catherine Brewster, her father, who is the Colonel in the movie. That's David Andrews. He was in an episode of CSI, one of my favorite episodes of CSI, where dealing with in this supermarket. And he was also in a small role in World War Z. So he's been in quite a few stuff, and it also stars Stephen Macht, who did great as he's the guy who's Warwick. That's her name. That was his name, Warwick, who runs the mill. I think he also did an excellent job. And of course, one of the biggest things I enjoy about it is you have Brad Dourif in this movie, voice of Chucky. I highly enjoyed this movie as the Exterminator. I thought he gave a great performance. And also among one of the cast members who I almost didn't recognize, because is Andrew Divoff, who the Wishmaster himself, and he was also he plays one of the bad guys in Air Force One. Yeah, I was like, oh really? I forgot that. I thought he was in this movie, Andrew Divoff, the guy who plays Wishmaster. And I find that well, I would say one of the little problems I have with the film is that Brad Dourif doesn't get killed by the creature. He just dies. He's in the graveyard. He gets killed by a coffin. Like, it sliced towards him, which is a good gore effect though. But I thought it's like that I thought it's like that he didn't get killed by the creature. But other than that though, I highly enjoy this movie. Most of the film, like, I enjoy from the cast and great effects for the monster, because it kind of looks like a bat, like a giant bat though, but I think it's mixed in with a little bit of a rat as well, because in this mill there's like 1,000 of rats in this movie, which if I get into it, it opens up with in the mill, right, and then it goes down to the lower level where a guy is working, like throwing the cotton stuff into this machine, and it shreds it up, and he's surrounded by a bunch of rats that are just watching him, and which I thought was like a creepy scene, creepy, because you have all these rats is watching you, and you get a little bit disturbed. It's like, okay, and the guy, he's like, okay, class is over, and he kills like one rat and throws it into the machine, and then he picks up another one, but he drops it because there's a shadow in front of him, which he thought was the boss. But when he turns around, which is the creature, but you see it from its point of view. You don't see it yet though, but it kind of like pushes him in, and the guy gets shredded into the machine. You see all the blood and the cotton. You see the foot going, and then we get introduced to Andrew Davis's character, who gets hired to the mill, and you have a bunch of other workers there. And one of the highlights, one of the things I thought I enjoyed, because I thought it was kind of like in the realm, like Aliens. Well, no, not Aliens. Alien, sorry, the first one, Alien. That's like about these blue collar people. How, like, in Alien, it's like they're like space truckers in outer space, basically. Blue collar people. And that's what you get not too many blue collar people in horror films nowadays, which sucks. But it kind of reminded me of Alien, because you get like they're just regular ordinary people. They're not scientists or anything. Well, except for like the character Ash though, but still, which I don't think he wasn't a scientist anyway. But they're just going through space trying to get home, but until they encounter the alien. And I thought I kind of got that little bit of Alien vibe, because these are blue collar people as well, and we don't get that in many nowadays, or probably none at all. And then you can choose all these characters that are working, and then the guy, Warwick, played by Stephen Macht, who's a guy who you love to hate. It's like the same thing with Captain Rhodes in Day of the Dead. He's a bad guy that you love to hate. But and when he gets hired, when David Andrews gets hired, he's like, "Welcome to the graveyard shift." And Stephen Macht did a great job as Warwick, because he's an asshole basically, and like how he just keeps on pushing these guys, and like for like one instance where one of the female workers who's fed up with him because he's telling him to work down in the basement, and she started smashing his car with an axe, and he was about to hit her. But then, you get where David Andrews, when he does like this, David Andrews just goes and holds him back and says, "Show's over." That's what he says. I like how the way he says it, like, "Show's over." And then you get talk, and I like one more where we get with Brad Dourif as the exterminator, where he's talking with David Andrews, so he explained about all these rats, and one where he's like, I've dealt with these for 20 years, and the best way to get rid of these fuckers is with a different kind of thing. He's like shows he has a gun, and how he explains how he tells the story, but he was in Vietnam, and I enjoy that scene where he was talking with David Andrews, and Brad Dourif did such a great job. I just wish I wish that he would have encountered the monster though, but he doesn't. He is crushed by the coffin, which is he gets his head smashed in, which is a good gory death scene. But I wish he never gets a chance to encounter the monster which is sad. But then when they all things really get see when they all go down to the basement together, and when they're in the basement, they find a door, they go into it, and one guy gets like scared. He runs up to the what was it, Bargain, or I forget how the character's name though, but he tries to go up the stairs, but he falls through and he goes right through the floor into the water, and the monster gets him and takes him, and they all run away. They get split up, and like one part where it's Stephen Moff, Andrew Divoff, and this guy Carmichael, where they hear a river, and there's this hole, and of course, when the guy sticks his hand in, of course, the monster grabs him and chews his hand off, and then he gets dragged away by the creature. And Andrew Divoff, he almost falls to the floorboards, but he's like, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying right here. And then when it shows a close up of him, he hears something, and then when he flickers on the his lighter, the monster's right in his face, like right here, where he looks this way and he flickers on. The monster's right in his face right here, and he screams, "Ah!" Then he gets eaten. And then at this point right here, where Warwick, he turns totally insane. He rubs all this black stuff all over his face, and he starts running away, but he falls through where the creature lives, or all these pile of bones, and David Andrews and as John Hall is his name, and the woman who was with him, I think it's probably Kelly Wolf. I forget what her character's name though, but they find Stephen Mott and they try to help him out, but he's totally nuts now, so he fights David Andrews and Kelly Wolf. I think she gets killed when Stephen Mott stabs her with a piece of bone, and he runs off. And then he sees the creature and he gets a knife, and he's like, what was the knife? He's like, let's go to hell together, and he starts running, and they start stabbing it, and then the creature wraps around on its wings, and he dies such a horrible way. He gets wrapped around its wings, and it starts chewing at him, which happens the same way to another worker after the first guy got killed. One worker's down there, and he's holding a light, and the same thing, the creature wraps around his wings. You see like his face imprinted through the creature's wings as he's getting killed. And the creature is really cool to look at, and it's all practical, not CG. Same with the rats, where it has a bunch of rats. You know, like in Indiana Jones: The Last Crusade, where Harrison Ford is like, "Oh, rats," and there's all this bunch of rats. Yeah, I was gonna say and I thought the location is really cool to look at, and how this mill and just below it, cool settings. The underground. I like the location. I think it looks well, and it's dark, and it's gritty, and dirty, to be exact. And then when David Andrews, he encounters the creature, he chases after him. He goes back up to the mill, and he gets a hook, and he stabs into it, and then he knows that the creature's tail is caught in the machine. So he gets a slingshot, because you have seen earlier, because he's good with a slingshot. He starts shooting soda cans at the rats. Well, he tries to shoot the soda can. He misses the first time at the buttons to start the machine, and gets it the second time, and the machine starts, and it starts dragging the creature back, and the creature dies in such a gory way, and it's great to look at. As it's being pulled in, blood is going everywhere. The creature is getting squished to death. Great gory death scene for the creature, and it's just blood galore all around. And the creature and the rats starts feeding on its remains. It's like the opening of how the first guy got killed. All the rats starts feeding on that guy's remains as well. and then the final shot ends where the mill is now under new management, and I thought that I enjoyed the end credits where before, just when the credits are going, you hear Stephen Moss saying again, "Show's over. The graveyard shift." And I like how the score is going, like this, and all the voices like the graveyard shift. Nobody knows. Like, I forget what that line was, but it was like during, you hear all these voices going as the credits are going, and I like how the credits are going. It keeps on going until the last credits going, and you just hear the graveyard shift. So yeah, I love this movie. Stephen King's Graveyard Shift is definitely a great horror film, especially one of my favorites of his adaptations. Great, and it's also a great creature feature as well. A lot of people just don't get. I don't get why people don't like this, because when it came out, it made almost no money. It made 11 million, just narrowly going past its budget of like 10 million, and it got a lot of crap when it opened up. It has a 13% Rotten Tomatoes, has a 4.8 IMDb. I'm sorry, I highly disagree with that. I also get what's so bad about this, because yeah, maybe people thought that, you don't see the monster till like towards the end of the movie. Come on. Yeah, I can deal with that though, because it's building up. You see little glimpses of it here and there, but up until the end, it's cool. It's cool to look at, and it's really well done effects. And also, really looking up that Tom Savini was originally going to direct this. I would love to see that. I love to see, because how Tom Savini he's how his great makeup and effects, like from Dawn and Day of the Dead, and helped do the effects on Friday the 13th and Part 4. And he's a great makeup effects guy, and I think he also directed a movie. I forgot what it was though, but I would like to see how he directed this movie. I would have, but I guess the studio wasn't interested, and that's why they selected this guy Ralph S. Singleton. But I would have been interested to see it with Tom Savini, because considering he's a great makeup effects person, and plus I like interested if he starred in this movie as well, because I like him as an actor as well, especially when he was in From Dusk Till Dawn as Sex Machine, and also Dawn of the Dead as well. But yeah, I would be curious to see if he would star in this as well, But I love this movie. Stephen King's Graveyard Shift is another great creature feature film. Yeah, you don't see it till fully to the end of the movie, but I can tolerate it, because it pays off well at the end. You get this cool looking monster, like a mixture of a rat and a bat, because of the wings and how the way its face looks, make a mixture of a rat and a bat. Great, awesome practical effects, great gore. It's bloody as hell. Brad Dourif, like I said, I wish he would have encountered the creature, because he's been all this session of doing all the rats. I'm like, it's like, oh, you're the big. Something like, oh, you're a big one. I'll see if I'll take you out myself. Something like that, though. I mean, and for those wondering, I got M&Ms. Yeah, I like M&Ms, but I just wish he would have encountered the monster, or how he would give a reaction or lines to say how he wants to kill the creature. But sadly, that never happened. So he just he dies just from a coffin smashing against his head. But I enjoyed him seeing on the screen. I think it was great, and especially the conversations between David Andrews and Stephen Macht. And Stephen Macht I thought he did a hell of a job as the human bad guy, because he's an asshole though. But by the end, he turns totally insane, and he dies in a horrible way from the creature. And the rest of the cast members, like I thought they did a fine enough job as well. And Andrew Divoff, which I thought, who I first didn't recognize because this is 1990 and younger, but I thought he was pretty decent, you know, from when he worked with, you know, especially when he was acting all scared. Then also in the monsters in his face right here, because I like him as Wishmaster, and I thought I liked him when he was one of the bad guys in Air Force One. And I enjoy the location. That was in this mill. The underground things were just dark and gritty. And I have to mention what I really do enjoy is the score in this movie by Anthony Marnelli and Brian Banks. I enjoy the score. I thought it was a great score. Like more towards the end of the film, you hear this. Oh, it's kind of like, it's not like a choir type of voice though, but I thought it was a really enjoyable score, and gives that a creepy essence and vibe to the atmosphere of the film, and it worked well in the movie. But the thing is, I just don't get why it gets so like some other Stephen King films. I don't get why it gets hated on. I don't see what's so bad about it. But of course, if it's I just don't know. I thought the directing was well, and it's too bad this guy never directed again after this. I thought he could have had directed another different Stephen King film, but maybe because the film guy was received so poorly critically and box office, maybe that's why. But I don't know. I'm just mind boggled at how the film gets hated on. Especially the poster. The poster is cool. I would like to get that poster sometime down the road. I think it's a cool looking poster. Like if I show you right here. Yeah, I think that's a cool looking poster. And I thought the release date, it was well timed because they wanted to open this around Halloween, and I'm doing it right now because it's Halloween month. And it's such a good title, Graveyard Shift. And especially speaking of the title, how it opens up, it was up Stephen King's Graveyard Shift, and it's all blood coming dripping down. And yeah, I have not read the short story by Stephen King though, but the movie itself, I thought it was really just fun. A fun creature feature film. And I'll put this in my top list of favorite creature features. Like in the realm with The Relic, definitely The Relic. And Deep Rising. I keep on bringing that film time and time again because I love that movie. That's one of my all-time favorite movies, and that's underrated as hell for a creature feature film as well. But the effects of the creature is really well done, and it's a cool looking design. Yeah, you don't see it as much up until the very end though, but it pays off. The payoff is well earned, I would say. Great cast, great score. Love Brad Dourif. David Andrews did a really great job. Stephen Macht, also very excellent as well. And good directing by the director. Cool settings, cool score, great score. I already said the setting. Gore, it's bloody. Especially the creature gets the most bloody death out of all the deaths in this movie. So yeah, I don't know what more I could say about Graveyard Shift. I don't see what's so bad about it. It definitely is in the realm. Looks like it's in the realm of Stephen King. It definitely does. Like, especially with Christine, Silver Bullet, The Shining, Carrie. Trying to think of other ones, but I don't see what's so. That's the bottom line. I don't see what's so bad about it. But yeah. But yeah, that's my review for Graveyard Shift, Stephen King's Graveyard Shift. It's a fun monster movie. That's all I can say. Thanks for watching. and cheers to M&M's. And stay tuned on the next next movie review for Halloween month, which is getting to the main ones I wanted to review, and you'll soon get to those. But thanks for watching, and if you haven't seen this, check it out. I would highly recommend it. Of course, if you don't like it, I understand though, but I don't. If you don't like it, that's fine. I'm not gonna make fun of you for it, but I just won't get. What I'm trying to say is I don't get what's so bad about it. But I would recommend checking it out, especially if you're a fan of Stephen King. That's also reason to check it out as well. But thanks for watching. Stay tuned. Later.